I didn't wait until Monday. I didn't wait for motivation. And I didn't wait for permission. That alone already separates me from most people watching this. Because if that line made you uncomfortable, good. It means you're still negotiating with time. And let me anchor this immediately. Yesterday was January 1st. Not symbolically, not aesthetically, literally. A lot of people treat January 1st like a mood, like a soft reset, like a Pinterest board. I don't. I treat it like a line in the sand. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that most people avoid. A new year doesn't change anything. Decisions do. And yesterday, I made one very specific decision. I went live. Not because I had something new to announce. Not because I felt especially inspired. Not because algorithm demanded it. I went live because I refuse to train my nervous system to wait. Waiting is a habit. So is moving. And most people think motivation comes first. It doesn't. Movement comes first. And that's why so many people spend January getting ready. The rehearsing delay. I didn't want to rehearse delay. I wanted a receipt. And that's what yesterday was. A receipt. Not a launch. Not a performance. Not a hype moment. A proof of life signal that said, I am already in motion. If your year depends on feeling ready, it's already in trouble. Here's something I've learned the hard way. Silence terrifies people who haven't built anything underneath it. When nothing is happening externally, they panic. They refresh. They scroll. They doubt. Builders don't panic in silence. They recognize it. Silence usually means construction. And that's why January 1st matters to me. It's quiet. It's empty. It's honest. And instead of filling it with promises, I filled it with presence. That's a discipline most people never practice. And here's where I need to slow this down intentionally. Because this is where people start projecting. I don't build loud. I don't build fast for show. I don't build in a way that's easy to copy. And that's not arrogance. That's survival math. Let me explain something. Most people confuse visibility with progress. They think if it looks busy, it must be working. But that mentality is backwards. The loudest builders are usually compensating, and the quiet ones are usually stacking leverage. Right now, behind the scenes, I already have a clear content rhythm, long form, clarity, lanes. A podcast with seasons behind it. A private depth system that doesn't leak. None of that came from virality. None of that came from hooks or hacks. And none of that came from motivation. I didn't wake up asking, what should I post? I wake up knowing what role today plays. What doesn't matter today? What compounds? And what distracts and causes me to leak energy? That's the difference. If you need excitement to stay consistent, you don't have a system, you have a mood. People assume builders are energized. That's a myth. Builders are regulated. They don't chase dopamine, they chase alignment. That's why I don't flood my feed. That's why I don't explain everything. And that's why I don't respond to every comment or metric wobble. Because attention is not the goal. Durability is. And durability is boring while it's being built. That's the part no one tells you about. While everyone else is chasing spikes, I'm pouring foundations. And while everyone else is explaining themselves, I'm tightening structure. While everyone else is waiting to feel confident, I am stacking evidence. And evidence beats confidence every single time. And this part matters more than what I am doing. Because subtraction is power. This year, I am not posting reactively, over living for validation, teaching everything I know, explaining my full stack, or performing urgency. And I need to say this cleanly. If someone can copy what you're doing just by watching your content, you're playing too shallow. I don't give away systems. I give away judgment. Judgment can't be stolen. It has to be earned. That's why when I touch on things like compliance, and I'm being very intentional here, I don't explain steps. I don't outline frameworks. I don't package it as a shortcut. Because the value isn't in the checklist, it's in the standards. And standards don't transfer through mimicry. They transfer through discipline. People who copy without discipline collapse every time. That's not gatekeeping. That's physics. This year, I'm optimizing for leverage, not applause. For calm authority, not constant output. For systems that survive fatigue. And here's something personal I'll say once. I've outgrown panic productivity. I don't rush. I don't scramble. I don't build from fear any longer. If something doesn't strengthen the system, it doesn't get my energy. That's why you'll see fewer lives, but stronger ones. Fewer explanations, but clearer ones. More depth behind commitment. This isn't about hiding, it's about containment. Containment is what allows power to compound. Let me ground this practically without turning it into a tutorial. There's a rhythm here, and rhythm is what keeps builders sane. Shorts are signals, lives are presence. Long form is clarity. The vault is depth. Each lane has boundaries. Each lane has purpose. That's why yesterday's live mattered. It wasn't content, it was orientation. And today's long form matters because it does something differently. It explains why I move the way I do without teaching anyone how to copy it. That distinction matters. If someone needs instructions, they're not ready for responsibility. This year, I'm calling in people who feel the friction, who already know that they're built differently, who don't need hype, they need grounding. If you felt calmer watching this instead of energized, pay attention. That is not an accident. Calm is a signal of alignment. So here's what comes next without drama. The rhythm holds one anchored live per week. Long form clarity like this. Podcast episodes on Saturdays. And the vault stays where the real work lives. Not because I'm hiding value, but because depth belongs behind commitment. I'm not building an audience that wants everything for free and nothing for real. I'm building a room where builders sharpen themselves. Spectators scroll, and builders, they stay. If you're here casually, welcome. If you're here seriously, you already feel it. This channel isn't entertainment, it's documentation. You're watching someone build in real time, not loudly, not desperately, but deliberately. That's why January 1st mattered. Not because the year changed, because I didn't wait. And if you're still waiting, that's okay. Just don't lie to yourself about it. Momentum doesn't arrive, it's created brick by brick, receipt by receipt, without panic, without noise, This is how years are actually built. Most people will still be planning in February. I'll still be building. And if that resonates, you already know where the deeper work lives.